Thanks for watching. Now, I put out a video before about the origins of the races of people. Where did the many different races of people come from? And then I got into that video and we talked about OCA 1 and 2, and we talked about vitiligo. We talked about this genetic change that obviously occurred, long time ago, and where the many different races of people come from. And, clearly, they came from African people, and the African people was the original man here on this planet, unless you go with evolution theory. And it's a reason why evolution theory is the way that it is and why it's structured the way that it is. It's, again, a part of white supremacy, and it's a reason why it is the way that it is. So if you follow evolution theory, if you just follow, we can skip going all the way back to cyanobacteria, and evolving to from single cell to multi-cell and more complex organisms and so on and so forth. If you have my series on Saturn Satan series on DVD, we got into some of this, so I'm gonna touch on some of this stuff, but not everything that I touched on the DVD. But just want to get into some things to help me prove my point. So we're not gonna go that far back, but let's just get to the point, the part that matters, which is basically when we start getting to primates. Now, a lot of people are confused about, how we evolved, how we got here. Now, science tells us we did not evolve from primates. We did not evolve from chimpanzees. That we share a common ancestor with primates. Now, the problem with that is we do not know what that common ancestor is. Now, it's highly debated. So many people I got into in the last video about how it was taught that black people were descended from monkeys, and we have monkeys' blood and everything like that. This was obviously, during the end of slavery and into the 1800s, when you had people like Darwin and people who was really trying to decipher the genetic code and to figure out where we came from and how we evolved or what have you. But yeah, it was put out there, we know, with the Piltdown man and everything about like that, when it was trying to say that we evolved from monkeys. We know about the human zoos, when they had black people in zoos, and was basically cascading them around as being evolved from monkeys. We know about Otabanga, who was forced to live in the zoo with a monkey and everything like that. So it has been this history that white people clearly believe that black people evolved from primates, from monkeys. So this is something that is, white people still carry that belief. They shout it in racial slurs. I've seen it recently. So we're going to get into this technically and officially, as far as what the records clearly show and what science really says. Because again, it's still this misconception, this misunderstanding about primates, about chimpanzees. And science is clearly telling us we didn't come from them, we didn't evolve from them, but we share a common ancestor. What does that mean? Now, when you look at the evolution chart and you see that we have primates, and you see from chimpanzee, you have Australopithecus, which from Australopithecus or Homo Australopithecus afarensis or Homo Australopithecus africanus, which they believe are related, you will see from that line, it will lead you to humans. And if you follow that line, you'll get to the Neanderthal eventually, evolving from or supposedly coming from Homo heidelbergensis. So there's an issue with Neanderthals. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this. A lot of people are going to debate it. A lot of people are going to be, outraged by it or not. But I don't believe in Neanderthals. I think they are a fabrication. And none of you have 100% clear proof, only what you have been told that they actually ever existed. Now, you can talk about bones, and we can get into that, which is why I mentioned the whole Piltdown man, where they fake bones and that whole thing, and that was proven that they faked it to make it look like it was the missing link or what have you might as well say. But it's proven, and they are on record as faking stuff like this. And I'm going to break it down and use their own science to show why I don't believe in the Neanderthal and why I think it's a fabrication. And you can go off of that and you can believe what you want to believe afterward, but you won't be able to refute this video and the evidence that's in it. Now, the whole thing is, if we go from Homo australopithecus and follow to Homo erectus, and you have the Asian Homo erectus and what have you, all the way up to Homo heidelbergensis and Neanderthal, and eventually you'll get us Homo sapiens, and then they put in 2010 the Denisovans supposedly have found bones. Now, it's important to note that they have on record that Neanderthal bones are the most found bones in the world, as far as I guess humans, or whatever they're calling this stuff. So the whole purpose, as I mentioned, white supremacy before, is if you believe that Neanderthals are real, that Neanderthals actually existed, then you are saying that the ancestor of the white race, or the white race, was here before black people, before the African race, because clearly on the chart they have the Neanderthal before the Homo sapien. And it's important to note, and I use this same chart in my DVD, and I'm using it here because it's really important and it helps prove my point. And if you look at any other chart, it will basically be the same. But it's important to note why they use or put this Sandman there. And I'm going to get into that later. Now, again, we'll go back. Let's go back to this chart and look at the primates. And look at the definition that they are giving us, and what they are saying, I should say, about us not evolving from primates, but sharing a common ancestor. Now, an ancestor is somebody that came before you. Now, if you look at the chart and you go back, where did that ancestor come from? What ancestor are they talking about? And they will tell you they do not know. So that's where we get this whole missing link. There's a missing link between the primates and Homo australopithecus. It's a missing link there. And we talked about this. We're going to get into this now. But understand that the Smithsonian will also tell you that they have no idea where Homo australopithecus came from, but they believe that it's related to Homo australopithecus africanus, and afarensis are basically related. The Lucy bones are Homo australopithecus. Now, this is the actual Smithsonian's website on Homo australopithecus africanus. Now, I want you to note and look down here. It says, below are some of the still unanswered questions about Australopithecus afarensis that may be answered with future discoveries. I'm only going to read the first two. That's all I need. 1, it says, Australopithecus africanus is currently the oldest known early human from southern Africa. Where did it come from? Saying clearly, they don't know where it come from. These are questions that are still not answered. Where did it come from? Question mark. Was it a descendant of Australopithecus afarensis from Eastern Africa? Number 2 says, is Homo australopithecus africanus part of the lineage that led to our own species, Homo sapiens? Question mark. That is huge if you understand it. It says, again, I'm going to read it again because it's important. Is Australopithecus africanus part of the lineage that led to our own species, Homo sapiens? Question mark. Now understand, for those who don't get it, if they don't know if we evolved from it, then what the hell is this? What is all this up here? What is this? What's this doing here? If they don't know if Homo sapiens evolved from Homo australopithecus, then why do they have this lineage here? Why do they have this evolution showing that you have the Homo sapiens, and you have Homo erectus and Homo heidelbergensis and Neanderthal, leading all the way up to us. They don't know about it. They're not sure. So why put it up there? So again, pay attention. This is supposed to be a huge question mark there. It's another missing link. So we have two missing links. So if they don't know if we evolved or if the evolution from Homo australopithecus africanus or afarensis, if they don't know if we came from them, then this is all null and void because they don't know. So, one, the explanation for where the white race comes from is that Africans made it with Neanderthals and gave us the white race. And anybody with a brain can see that that's bullshit. You gotta live in a third world country to believe that nonsense. So again, when I say to you that Neanderthals is bullshit, they are a fabrication, this is what I'm talking about. Because there is no way that, as I said before, a super dark, Kunta Kinte, black African, Michael Blackson looking motherfucker can mate with this monkey looking, brute, whatever the hell it is, and produce a clean cut white boy like Tom Cruise, like Julia Roberts. So you mean to tell me that a black African can mate with this Neanderthal and produce white people? On what planet does that happen? But this is their explanation for where the white race comes from. Now, when I did the last video, I showed you that they come from us clearly. And now, recently, we have seen, as I put in the DVD, that the geneticists and the scientists have isolated the mutation of what happened and how white people went from African to the white race. And it's basically been proven. They isolated the gene from zebrafish, and they took the gene, the mutation that exists in all white people. They took the mutation from an actual human and injected it into the fish, and the fish grew back its stripes, showing that it's the exact same mutation. So it's already been proven. And then you had, since in 2010, they came up with this whole Denisovans crap. I believe it was a little bit before that. And they gave us before that the Asian Homo erectus. So you had the Chinese go out and do their own research to see where they came from. And the video is out there already. I put it in DVD that you can see clearly that they tell you themselves that they came from African people. So the question of evolution, the question of where the races of people have come from has been proven. And it's a common sense proof that it's up to people to accept or to deny. So what I put in the last video, I put it there so you can see with your own eyes, where they come from. So, getting back, the reason why the Neanderthal was created, why they put that there, is so that these white supremacists, these people who don't want to admit where they come from and don't want you to know, because then they can't, keep us separated with this whole racial issue shit, this whole racial tension stuff. If we all knew we came from the same place, that we are all the same, then we wouldn't argue so much. We wouldn't be, shouting all this crazy shit that we're shouting if everybody knew that they came from black people. So they put this out there, this whole Neanderthal, so they can say that, well, wait a minute, the Neanderthal was here on the planet before the Homo sapien, so before the black race, which is why on the chart they have a sand person, which the sand people are from South Africa and they are lighter. So you have never seen darkness come from light. Two white people can only produce white. Two white people cannot produce an African, but we can see with the albino that black African can produce white. We can see the mutation that happened that caused the loss of pigmentation. It's been proven. You can see what happened. You can see with vitiligo, a black person turned white. What more proof do you need when you see Africans with blonde hair and blue eyes? Red hair. All the attributes that white people possess, we know Africans was here first and they possess those same attributes. So common sense will tell you But since there's so much hate in the world, so much racial tension, it's hard for a lot of people to accept these facts. And it's right in front of your face. So when you go back and you look, at the evolution chart, when you look at, where is this missing link? What is it? What could it possibly be that fits there? He just told you they don't know where Australopithecus africanus or afarensis came from, or if they even related, or if we evolved from them. So if we share a common ancestor, what the hell is it? What was it? Now you mean to tell me that we have the Lucy bones, which the Lucy bones, if you remember, Lucy is Homo australopithecus. That's where her bones are. That's what it is. But if we have her bones, and I've seen them go and dig up supposedly million-year-old dinosaur bones and reconstruct an entire dinosaur from that DNA, from the bones. But we have this Homo Australopithecus, afarensis, and africanus, and they don't know where it came from. But they're going to tell you that Neanderthals came from it and that Homo sapien, Homo erectus came from it. When it says clearly on the site, did Homo sapien evolve from it? It says it clearly. They don't know. So how can it give us the chart? So, again, common sense to tell you ain't no way in the world an African and Neanderthal is going to create a white man. It's just not going to happen. The Chinese already proved them wrong doing their own DNA testing, showing that they came from African people. So, of course, the media will not reveal this to the world because it'll basically destroy prejudice and racism. And it would get people to open their eyes and see what has taken place in that, our institutions, our elected officials, this whole government system is responsible for the separation because they choose not to put this information out there and to let people know the truth about it. Because, of course, they couldn't control us if they did. So imagine if your kids grew up, if all kids grew up knowing that they came from the same place. They just an evolved version, or I should say, a different version of black people. We all come from Africa. So, again, this is a very touchy subject, but anybody who digs into it and does the research is going to come to the same conclusion. And it's a very, very, it's easy conclusion. So again, when I got into in the first video with oculocutaneous, OC8, 1 and 2 and 3, and what have you, and again, the carrier, patient 0 will always have different symptoms or, different symptoms than everybody else. It's just the mutation is different. It's the carrier. It's different. And, when you put it out, it's like cutting. Like when you start trying to cut a drug or, dilute something, then it's obviously going to be different from the original. And this is what we see with OCA. The only people who contain all the traits of OCA is African people. The second group of people is Japanese, as I talked about. So that tells you that patient 0 is the African race. And if OCA is hereditary, how the hell could every race on the planet have it if we are not the mother and father of every race? So this is what the proof and the facts is showing you. So now no matter how you slice it, when you look at it, you cannot get the white race without African people. And this is not to brag and say that, we're the master race and all this and that. This is just facts. Because stuff is put in place to create hatred, to create hate, to perpetuate and keep in place white supremacy. But when you look at it, you see, no matter how you slice it, you can't get the white race without the African. So what's the problem? What is the problem? So if they want to use the fact, or if they want to say that it's a fact that Africans made it with Neanderthals and created the white race, okay, well then your father or your mother is African. You are African. No matter how you want to slice it, you're still African. But the reason why they got to put that Neanderthal there is so they can say, well, my ancestors was here before you, giving us claim to this planet over you. And there's absolutely no proof to support that but this Neanderthal that it seems only the Smithsonian can find. Since they're talking about they have an abundance of it, it's the most found bones. But they have the bones. And if they have the bones of Neanderthals and the bones of Australopithecus, how do they not know? We got our bones as well. How do they not know if we evolved from it? But they put this chart up there to say that we did, and then people don't know how to ask questions and what to look for, so they are confused, and people just go along with what we are told. But it's bullshit. It's bogus. So you can take the Smithsonian's own quote, their own question, straight to their museum where they actually have the Neanderthal statues, and say, well, what the fuck is this? How do you have this here if you don't know if we evolved from it, if we came from it? So it's just something for people to look at and to question. Bottom line, it really don't matter, where you come from, what race you are, what color, what have you. The only thing that matters is right and wrong. I know that's basically an old saying, and people always say that, but it's the truth. Truth, righteousness, justice, peace, what have you. Things we should be living by, not by the color of a person's skin. And if people just understood that the similarities that we have as human beings is far greater than the things that separate us. And the only separation that we know, we have been taught. We've been taught to be separate and that we are different, and we should embrace our differences instead of embracing what we share and what really matters to us. Do it really matter to you that a person is not the same skin color as you? Does it really matter? Now, of course, black people are going to say yeah. Some white people are going to say yeah because of the context and what we have been brought up in, the way the world is that we grew up in. But take that out. If you take that out, what we have been taught and what has been put into us, would it really matter? And I think our children show us that it don't matter. When you have little black kids and white kids playing together as if color is nothing. It's just, let's play. Let's enjoy each other's company. But because we have been taught to hate, and we have been taught to be separate, to separate ourselves, and because of the history that has been perpetuated by a government system, not a race, we have all this racial tension and hatred between the races. And at the end of the day, all people really care about is their family, their friends, being successful, having a good life. And I believe every race cares about that equally. So if we put all the bullshit aside and just pay attention to what we see, and we see clearly, as I said, you have African women giving birth to white people. So a lot of people are going to say, well, albinos is not the same as the white race. Well, what the albino proves is there was a mutation. It's just as simple. As I talked about before, men are just a mutation of women. Plain and simple. We are a mutation caused by the secretion of testosterone. Everybody starts out as a woman. It's the secretion of testosterone that changes that woman into a man. Clitoris is just elongated, becomes a penis. Ovaries drop, becomes testicles. You have, when you don't have enough secretion of testosterone in the brain, but the body transforms into a man, this is how you get gay people. Because the brain has not secreted testosterone, so it's still a woman. The rest of the body has, and it changes to a man. So a person becomes gay. It's clear. But if you teach people that, you can't use, homophobia against us. You can't use our differences against us. You can't have us at each other's throat because of our differences and use it to further your agenda when you just tell people what it is. That's the same thing with lesbian women. The secretion of testosterone only happens in the brain, not the body. So they stay with a female body, but they like women. They have a male brain. And we see that with, if you really know like a real hardcore dyke girl that's like exactly like a dude, I know a couple of them, that's hardcore, then you can see it. It's like, damn, you a damn dude with titties. Just like a man, like, you can understand what's going on. Secretion only happens in the brain, not the body. These are things that they understand, that they know what's going on, but they use it against us to control us. And they have been doing it well and successfully for a long time, and they continue to do it to this day. You know, everybody's getting on, Trump about what's going on, and just so much racial tension still going on about people debating with Trump, and you have his supporters. I've seen them call black people some crazy names. Even now, recently, with the football players not wanting to go visit Trump in the White House, you see what they've been called. If you look at Twitter, I mean, all the racial slurs, and some people still believe we actually evolved from monkeys, and that's been thrown out there. It's ridiculous how brainwashed people is and how stupid they act because of ignorance. So, I wanted to put this video together to just kind of, elaborate more on my last video that I put out about the origins of the races of people. And you yourself, I mean, it's not even, you don't need to do no research. You can just look and see clearly. We talked about in the video, the Asian race, which they have proved themselves. This is not something that I'm saying. This is the Asian race. This is Chinese people themselves put out the information that they come from African people. And you can go to South Africa to the same people and look clearly and see that this is where Asians come from, because they look like Asians. Clear as day. So when you pay attention to the whole out of Africa theory that I got into in the last video, and you can clearly see what happened. So again, it's just a matter of accepting facts, or continue to believe ignorance for whatever reason. Continue to believe what you have been told that don't make no damn sense. That a damn African had sex with a Neanderthal and created a clean-cut, pure white boy. It's stupid. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard, and people are stupid following it. And when you get there to the Smithsonian Museum, when you look at the bones of the Neanderthal, first of all, the bones look like regular anybody else's bones, and the skull is big. But as I said, they have been proven to manipulate skulls. It don't make no sense. It don't fit. Use common sense. Now, when you look at Homo heidelbergensis, and then you see the evolution that Neanderthal came next, and when you look at the Neanderthals, I mean, look at how they got their skin. It's white. Skin is white. We know, everybody knows, there is no way two white people is going to produce an African. So how the hell did Homo heidelbergensis 1 evolve into Neanderthal? But how the hell did Homo heidelbergensis again evolve into Homo sapien, or the African race? How did that happen? So, it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. Because then you would have to say that two white people or a white race can produce a black African race, which we know, common sense will tell you that's not possible. So, these are small things that people would rather believe the lie. They would rather not do no research at all. They would rather accept what they have been told, and accept the hatred and the racial tension, and all the bullshit that comes with the kind of thinking that has been put out there. They would rather accept it than to look at the truth. And it don't take that much time to sit down and do the research. I did the shit years ago. So, I mean, it's clear. If you really have that question in your head, what's going on, and where we come from, then go research it. Don't even take my word for it. Don't pay attention to nothing that I said. Go look for yourself and see. Because it's the only way you're really going to get it in you is when you know yourself. So, it's just that simple. I don't speak on nothing that I don't know. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. And a lot of people, I got a lot of comments about the last video. And nobody can really provide any, concrete proof that makes sense. Now, again, I'm going to get comments on this video, and I guarantee you that whatever they put out there is not going to refute the video. Not even just that. Again, fuck all the science. Homo heidelberg, what? I understand, man. They make up these long-ass names and ascribe these long-ass names, because they don't want you to really know what it is. If you got something with a long, stupid-ass name that don't make no sense, it's because they don't want you to know about it. They don't want you to deal with it, make your brain hurt to try to pronounce it, because they don't want you dealing with this shit. But, forget all that. Forget all the science, forget all the bullshit, and just look at the facts. Look at what's right in front of your face. Clear as day. We all the same. 2 arms, 2 legs, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Only difference is our hair and our skin color, eye color. Not even that, because you got black people, Africans with blue eyes, blonde hair, red hair. Where's the difference? Where's the difference, really? We the same. We are all the same. Fucking dogs don't argue about a litter that's multicolored. And we're supposed to be the master race, above all that. And we arguing about fucking skin color, pigment. So we already know we've been lied to. Schools lied to us. Every institution has lied to us. And religious, of course, the biggest liars. And again, if you want to trace it back, evolution, as I said, going all the way back to cyanobacteria, which is basically the first life on this planet, would be cyanobacteria. And your Bible, it doesn't tell you cyanobacteria was created first as a living organism. It's living. And according to science, everything came from it. But then you get to that point where we don't know. We stop with this primates. And they tell you, well, we didn't evolve from them. We share a common ancestor. We don't see where that common ancestor comes into place. Then they tell you that, well, first of all, come on, look at your hands. We have primate DNA. That's clear. We also share DNA with platypuses, possums, cats, mice, a lot of different animals, reptiles. We got a lot of different animal DNA in us. But then they sit and they tell you that, well, that's a small amount. Over 90% of your DNA, we don't know what the hell it is. They call it junk DNA, as I talked about in the DVD. Junk DNA. What the hell is that? Non-enzyme coding, non-protein coding, junk DNA. So what is that? And, clearly they don't know what the missing link is, what the common ancestor is. They don't know what it is. They don't know where Homo australopithecus came from. And they don't know what 99% of our DNA is, junk DNA. So it's telling you that this is some kind of relation. This is related, as I got into in the DVD. So, you got to really pay attention to what we have been told about us. So I want to thank you guys for, taking the time to watch and taking the time to, support. And, again, this is something that a lot of people really need to look into and understand. And again, we are kind of sort of at that point now where people just don't care. People don't give a shit about this. So what? People just really in their feelings and emotional about what we've been seeing over the last few years and all the racial tension and stuff like that. People don't give a shit about this information now. A lot of people are going through things and they feel the way they feel. But if you want to get into facts and you want to understand the facts, you need to know the truth, what's going on. And understand that the emotions that you are feeling, all the hatred and anger, you have been made to feel that way, and it's part of an agenda to deceive you. And by you continuing to feel like that and continuing to be consumed by the hatred and anger, then you are just being, you're being led to your own demise. You're being led to helping them fulfill an agenda that's not going to benefit you. So you're only doing yourself a disservice by letting ignorance control your emotions. Let it go. It's bullshit. It's in you to control you and to deceive you. And as I talked about in the video I put out, part 2 of the Satan video, who is Satan or whatever. This is a part of this whole satanic type system that is has been perpetuated, for hundreds of years, and I talked about it in that video. But you understand what I mean. So don't let it consume you. Don't be consumed by this shit. It's petty, man. It's fucking petty. It's petty. You black on white. Come on. Now we understand what goes with that. White privilege. And then people want to say that black people are just lazy and we don't want to do shit and violent or what have you. But both stigmas have been put there by a government system. These identities have been given to us. Black people have been forced to be what we are, and the black community has been made that way. Drugs was put in there. The hip hop music was put in there to control our minds and get us to act it out. white people was given privilege, because if you do that, then it's automatically going to piss people off. I mean, if it's two of you, it's two of you, and then one person comes in there and only gives one of you food, and the person who got the food, who's getting all the food from the one person, if they don't share with you, you're going to feel some type of way. Now, what's going on is people are getting mad at the person who is receiving all the food and not getting mad at the person who is walking in and giving them all the food. Instead of you getting mad at the person who's giving this one group of people, this one person, I should say, the food, and you're saying, well, what the fuck? Why you ain't hooking me up? We getting mad at the person that's receiving all the food. And, the whole thing is, yeah, you should share. But if this thing is about survival, why would I share? If it's a competition, why would I share? As I talked about in my last video, it's a competition. Why would I share with you? So, of course, it's going to be animosity and hatred there. Of course, we're going to call them white devil, because that's some evil shit to do, to not share with them. Clearly here starving, and you got all that. And this motherfucker going to keep feeding you. So sneak me something. And, now we have white people waking up and seeing what we've been talking about, for years, for decades. And they're waking up to see that the system that they think is for them is really against them and has one agenda that's not going to benefit them. They are being used to bring about, the fulfillment of an agenda. So if that means you get privileges for now, it's all good. Give you what we need to give you, but they have proven to you that they'll fucking kill you if it means fulfilling their agenda. So why would you want to stick with that? Why would you want to accept that identity of being a pawn, fattening you up, for the kill? So now you got the people who can help you hating you. And at the end of the day, the people who has been supporting you and giving you all this, attention and privileges, they're going to stab you in the fucking back. They already stabbed you in the back. So yeah, this race thing is it's fucking stupid, man. It's stupid. And as I said, if I didn't live around the world and I could see it working, black and white, I've seen it work, then I wouldn't be talking about what I'm talking about. And I know, again, if education is the key, which is why I choose to educate and wake people up, and if people knew the truth about what's going on, then they would act accordingly, and they would basically it would change their mind and change the way they feel about certain things. So we need to educate each other. People need to wake up and see what the truth is and understand that everything else that's negative is a part of an agenda to control them. It's just that simple. But yeah, I can get into this shit all day. Got videos on it. A lot more videos to come. And thank you guys for taking the time to watch. As I said, part 4 of Preparing for the Mental Nurture is out. Grab it if you can. And thanks to those who did grab it and support. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm already making plans, getting ready to do part 6 of Satan and God, and trying to finish school and get everything out of the way before I take that trip over to Kemet. And yeah, I'm going to be taking trips like all year. As I said, the beginning of this year or the end of last year, I'm going to be going to a lot of places. Tibet, to Italy, Sierra Leone. I'm definitely going to be going to Africa. A lot of places I'm going to be going coming up this year to show you guys shit and to talk about some stuff, because there's some deep shit that's out here that I want to get into. But we'll get into that again. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next video.